Over the years, the process of selecting the West Indies cricket team have evolved. On many occasions, the end of this selection process would bring about some controversy. The 15-man squad selected for the first one-day international against Pakistan, however, I think more or less is controversial less. We recall back in the early days of West Indies cricket when the playing 11 would largely based up on the region or in the country, the island the match is being played. There would probably be just the captain or one outstanding player, the most two, that would play all the matches in all the islands. For example, if Jamaica was hosting a test match, then you would find 8 or 9 Jamaicans on the team. Whoever the captain was, he was one of those players who would have been allowed to travel to the different islands to play in each test match. So when the team leave Jamaica and go to Trinidad, of course the captain would go, probably one other player if he's outstanding, but not more than 2. So you would have 8 or 9 Trinidadian on the West Indies team. And the same thing would happen for Barbados. The same thing would happen for Guyana. You would have 9 Guyanese on the team, 8 or 9, and in Barbados. Those were the early selection process. Over the years, this process, as I said, have evolved. There was a time in the mid-70s leading up to the 90s when the captain had a lot of sway, but they still had a selection panel. We saw in the 90s, in the noughties, should say, especially in this decade of the noughties, there was a time when persons believed that Desmond Haynes, the chief selector, was the man that had the sway. Now, over the last 2 years or so, Cricket West Indies have implemented a policy where the head coach is also the chief selector. The majority of us do not agree with that position. However, it is what confronts us this day. However, I also think that the 15-man squad that was selected for this ODI series against Pakistan is more or less one that most of us would have selected. Hello everyone and welcome to the #1 cricket channel in the Caribbean. I say so with a smile on my face and with great pride. I thank you for being here. I appreciate your company as we look forward to this interaction on Independence Day in Jamaica. I say to my fellow Jamaicans, Happy Independence Day. From memory, I also believe that there are other countries in the Caribbean who are celebrating Independence Day today. And to you, I say, Happy Independence Day. It's a good feeling. When I look at that West Indies 15-man squad that was released, I then decided that with the first ODI match just merely 2 days away, instead of really reviewing the squad, which I think more or less is controversial less, I decided that I'll go ahead and pick my playing 11 for the first one-day international. First, let's take a look at what Darren Sammy said when the squad was released. Pakistan present a different test and challenge to continue our push for automatic qualification for the 2027 World Cup. Now let's pause there a minute or two and just look at how important it is for us to win this series against Pakistan. Since failing to qualify for the 2023 ODI World Cup, we have played 8 ODI series. We have won 3 of those series, we drawn 1, and we have lost 4. I saw in the press release where the PR person who posted it, well, you could quote Cricket West Indies. From the press release put out by Cricket West Indies, it states that we have won our last 4 ODI series at home. From my recollection and my consultation, I recall that the last 4 ODI series, we would have played India, England twice, and Bangladesh once. And that India would have beaten us. We should have played South Africa in an ODI series after the 2024 T20 World Cup. But we converted that series into some T20 matches. So I'm putting it out there. My recollection of our last 4 ODI series are against India, England twice, and Bangladesh. And India would have beaten us 2-1 and would have won the other 3. So if I am not remembering something and the West Indies statement is right, then please, I ask you, which is the other team? Because it's no harm if they are wrong, and it's no harm if I am wrong. It's a matter that by Cricket West Indies and I putting our collective mind together, we may just get the facts right. But my understanding, from my recollection, we have won the last 3 ODI series and not the last 4. So please tell me who I am missing out, because probably I am missing out one of those series. But back to the more important matter of the 2027 World Cup qualifications. We presently sit 10th in the ODI ranking. On the 31st of March, 2027 will be the cutoff period for the 8th highest ranked ODI team to qualify directly for the World Cup. South Africa, who is the host, will qualify directly. Therefore, the final qualification spot would be 9th, because Zimbabwe, who is also one of the co-hosts, is below us. So the 2 co-hosts will qualify, but being it that only South Africa is ahead of us, when you take out South Africa out of the 10, we are in 9th position. We are in the same number of points as on rating points as Bangladesh, and both teams have played 32 matches. There's something that I want you to look at here. If you look at this chart, you will see there that West Indies in the 2023-2027 cycle, West Indies have 48 ODI matches to play. We have already played 32 out of those. That makes it even more important and even more critical that we beat Pakistan in this series. And if we can beat them 3-0, it would enhance our chances of qualifying directly to the World Cup. So this 3-match series against Australia, against Pakistan, is no joke. We need to put our best foot forward. And I call upon the people of Trinidad to go out and support the West Indies team, because we need to win this 3-match ODI series. He went on further in his statement by saying, while qualifying is our immediate goal, maintaining a winning mentality and team cohesion is essential for long-term success. I want to say to Darren Sammy that qualifying is your only goal. If you do not qualify for the World Cup, you will not have a job as West Indies head coach. I am telling you that, Darren Sammy. So it's your only objective. It's your only goal. The team must qualify. So that fancy part about maintaining a winning mentality and team cohesion is essential for long-term success. While that may be true, if you fail to qualify for the One Day International World Cup, you won't be held around to see, you won't be in charge, should say, to see that long-term success. We'll need to get somebody who can provide that long-term success. You must qualify the team for the ODI World Cup. Otherwise, you won't be in the job. I am telling you that. The upcoming matches against teams like Pakistan, who are ranked higher, provide crucial opportunities to earn valuable ranking points to improve our standing ahead of the World Cup. Well, that is well said, and I'm glad that you appreciate that it is important that you do so, because we have to qualify for the World Cup. Now just look at the squad that was selected. There is the squad that was selected on the screen. Shea Hope, Joel Andrew, Jediah Blades, Casey Carty, Ruston Chase, Matthew Ford, Justin Greaves, Amir Django, Shamar Joseph, Brandon King, Evelyn Lewis, Budakesh Moti, Shafane Rutherford, Jaden Seals, and Romario Shepherd. In picking my playing 11 for this match, sorry about that. In picking my playing 11, I guess most of you who have seen that would probably know my playing 11. But in picking my playing 11 for this match, I was quite certain about 9 of the players. In recent times, as you saw there, despite the defeat in Sri Lanka and England and drawing the series in Ireland, in recent times, we have been doing well at home in ODI matches. And a number of the players has been performing consistently well in ODI matches at home. Therefore, it is more or less easy to select the playing 11 for me. I don't think many persons will disagree with the top 5: King, Lewis, Carty, Hope, and Shafane Rutherford. Those top 5. Number 6, Amir Django. In his one ODI match in the West Indies, he scored a century. And despite his failings since then, I am still giving him the opportunity to once again play another ODI match on home side. There are many times that you would have heard the saying that horses for courses. And in this situation where we have a coach who depends on his computer, uses algorithm bot, and just copy and paste because he looks at what the top teams are doing and he tried to copy what the top teams are doing and paste it for the West Indies team, which will never work because we have our own culture. Our talent pool is not as large and technically equipped as those other countries. So it's not about copy and pasting. However, I believe that there are horses for courses, and Amir Django would have scored 100 in that match against Bangladesh. I would give him another opportunity on home side. When I look at the 15-man squad, it is very clear in my mind that Budakesh Moti, Shamar Joseph, and Jaden Seals are the 3 best bowlers in this squad. Therefore, I have to play my 3 best bowlers. Now, there are 2 places which I think will go for, is being contested between 4 players. For the number 8 spot, You'd say, would you go with a Jedediah Blades who brings about left arm seam? Or do you go with Matthew Ford, who is known to pick up wickets early in the opposition innings? He has a knack of picking up early wickets in the opposition innings. So do you go with Ford or do you go with the option of Jedediah Blades? Then the number 7 position is between Shepherd, who we have groomed over the years to be a death bowler. We have seen though Matthew Ford have possessed some quality in bowling the death also. Do we go with Ruston Chase, who has been very economical? He continues to be one of our most economical white ball bowlers. Despite his economy not as low as it used to be, he continued to be. Or do we go with Justin Greaves, who is a seamer? So do we go with Justin Greaves? So in the end, in picking my playing 11, I've decided that I'll go with both Ruston Chase, who will offer some spin, an off-spinning option to us at Taruba. That's the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. I think that he will offer some off-spin option there. And I'll also go with Matthew Ford, who I think have improved his death ball bowling, and he continues to pick up wicket regularly in his opening spell. So in picking my playing 11 for the match on Friday, these are the players I have selected. Brandon King to open with Edwin Lewis. Casey Carty, our most prolific batsman in one-day international cricket since the World Cup qualifiers. Shea Hope, who is the captain, Shafane Rutherford, Amir Jangu, Ruston Chase, Matthew Ford, Gudakesh Moti, Shamar Joseph, and Jaden Seals. That will be my playing 11 for the first one-day international against Pakistan starting in Trinidad on Friday. Again, I say to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, please go out and support the team. It is crucial that we win these 3 one-day international to qualify for the World Cup. Currently, we are in 10th position. It therefore means we are out of the direct qualification process to the World Cup. So to ensure that we have direct qualification, it's a must-win. It's a must-win situation. We only have 16 matches to go of the 48 that we are scheduled to play. We have already played 32. And one of the things that came up to me is that we should have played 3 matches against South Africa. Those 3 matches that we should have played against South Africa, are those 3 matches, are we going to reschedule them and play them at another time? Or those 3 matches are chalked off? So really and truly, instead of having 16 matches to play, we only have 13. And after these 3 against Pakistan, we'll only be left with 10. So it's left to be seen. I do not know. But one thing is sure though. We need to win these matches and win them to put ourselves in a better position to qualify for the World Cup. Good afternoon, Jamur Smalls. Good afternoon, Athena. Good afternoon, Lex. Jamur Small, to me, West Indies cricket looks like they don't have things together. That's a fair point. Being in Fort Lauderdale over the weekend for the 3 matches, and I want to big up Elton Tucker of TV and Cricket Power Play and his wife Christina. They made our stay a very pleasant one. It was very pleasant, and thanks to them, much thanks to them. And I also want to thank Bobby for picking us up at the hotel and taking us to the airport on Monday. So big up to TV and Cricket Power Play, Elton Tucker and his wife Christina, for letting our stay so pleasant, and also to Bobby, who picked us up from the hotel Monday morning and taking us to the airport. So big up to those guys. And I met a lot of persons in Florida. Capital Dev, a wonderful gentleman. You know, so I met a lot of persons in Florida, and I want to say it was a pleasure meeting you guys, you know, and, you know. So, but from my experience, Jamor, you would have heard, because you are here with us for a long time, and you would have heard me say on many occasions that we must stamp out player power if we need to go forward. And that came home to me more vividly over the weekend. Player power is rife in this team, and we must clean house. There are a number of players in this team. We just need to get rid of them. We just need to get rid of them and let them have nothing to do with West Indies cricket. There are players in this West Indies team. I was going to use a word, but I don't want to use that word. But let me put it this way. They don't want to see the young players perform. Yes, there are players in this West Indies team who don't want the younger players to perform because they are going to look bad. And they do everything to discourage the younger players from becoming great. They are comfortable with the younger players just doing enough. My grandmother told me a long time ago that your neighbor wants you to be successful enough that you don't beg them salt or sugar, but they don't want you to be more successful than them. And that can be applied to many senior members of this West Indies team. They want the youngsters to be successful enough, but they don't want the youngsters, and I use S, so I'm not singling out anyone, to be more successful than them. Because they will be so embarrassed. It will show them up. Can you imagine that we have a group of players who in the next 2-3 years are rising to greatness? And before these set of players, there are another set of players that achieve greatness. So around them will be two great West Indies generation. And these failures will be in the middle. And they look at that and they do not want the youngsters to succeed more than them. They just want them to succeed enough, but not more than them. So we need to run some players out of this West Indies team. We need strong leadership. Strong leadership. The leadership in this West Indies setup is weak. Player power is ruling the West Indies, and we have to get rid of some of these players. I think Pakistan would win the series 3-0, says Samuel Kane. I hope not. I hope that West Indies will win the series 3-0. And I say this, Samuel Kane, because I understand you saying that you think that Pakistan will win the series. I can understand that. I can really understand that point. I was discussing with someone earlier today, and I was saying to the person, if someone offer me a bet that West Indies will not make 250 in any of these 3 matches, I couldn't take that bet. Yes, I couldn't take that bet. And while I want West Indies to win the series, and while I hope that they make 300 and 320 and 350, I do not have any confidence that the West Indies team can make 250. I don't have the confidence. So I understand your point, Samuel Kane, that they'll probably get 3-0. But then I hope that that's not the case. So you believe that Sammy must go and Steve Russell. So thank you for tuning in on this Independence Day. They miss the trick with forcing in Chase and leaving out Atanase. Atanase show he can score at will against proper spin. So Matt Pryor think that Atanase should be out. Atanase should be in and replacing Chase. Whether or not Atanase should be in, though, Matt Pryor, I don't think that Chase is the one who should be left out. I would not leave out Chase, and I don't think that Atanase is competing with Chase. Atanase is probably competing with Joel Andrew. But Andrew is in the squad largely as a backup wicket keeper. Because if you look at this squad, I'm just trying to get up the squad here. So there's a squad. I don't think that he is competing with Chase because Chase provide that right arm off spin option, and Chase is more in this team for his bowling rather than his batting. Yes, he can contribute with the bat. Yes, he may bat high in the order, depending on the status of the game. But I don't think if Atanase was to come in, it would be at the expense of Chase. And he and Chase is not competing for the same spot in my view. I think it is more likely for Joel Andrew, but yet again, Joel Andrew is the reserve wicket keeper. So maybe if Alec Atanase is to come in, it would probably be at the expense of someone like Justin Greaves or Romario Shepherd. I do not see Atanase competing with the off spinning option, who has been bowling fairly well in limited over matches. So those are not. So I do not share your view, Matt Pryor, but again, you're entitled to yours. Wafi, how you doing, my friend from Bangladesh? Good afternoon. Good to see you. Do you think West Indies is a better ODI team than T20 international team? No. I don't think we are a better ODI team than a T20 team. And despite us winning those 3 consecutive ODI series at home, I do not think so. My main reason is the batting. The batting remains very successful, despite the success of Carty and Rutherford in particularly. Because in all honesty, in recent times, Evan Lewis, Brandon King, and Sheo have been blowing hot and cold. The batting have really centered around Casey Carty and Shafin Rutherford. I think the T20 team is better, in my opinion. Thank you, Matt Pryor. But if you are looking at keeper angle, Django is also there. True. Yeah, true. So yes. Yeah, but you understand you agree with me because I saw you said fair enough that Chase and Atanase going to be competing, so it's more likely Atanase and Joel Andrew or Amir Django. So I think that's where the competition would be between Atanase, Django, and the young man Joel Andrew. They still pigeon on these players to one format. Some of the West Indies fans promote other islands and leave out the others. No country in the Caribbean cannot survive by itself. Too much money. That is. I don't understand the last part about too much money. I don't know if you wanted to say something else, but that is very true, Jamor Small. I have often heard persons saying that Jamaica should go it on its own, Guyana should go it on its own. List the different countries that they should go it on their own. And when persons said that, I always said to them, don't come here and say it. Don't put it in the comment. I said, write to your cricket board, write to your government, put a petition online for the persons in your country to sign to leave Cricket West Indies. I always say it because whosoever think that we can be stronger separately do not understand the dynamics of how the cricket is funded. They don't. And West Indies is not the only ICC member who's made up of more than one country. It's not. There are several members in the ICC who's made up of more than one country. So I am firmly believe or know that our best bet to get back on top is for us to unite. And the more we realize that we need to unite for us to get back on top, when we recognize this, I think that we'll try our best to see that it is that favorite player, our countryman, our countrywoman, that is going to take us back on top. For example, in the first T20 International, Joel Andrew made 35. I think when I did a show, I said that he had a strike rate of less than 100. He had a strike rate of 106. Now, a minority, very few minority, was trying to make the big issue that he had a strike rate of 106. And I said that he have a strike rate of less than 100. And that's what they seek to make the big issue. And don't see that, what I'm saying is that a strike rate of 106 cannot win T20 matches. Cannot win T20 matches. And that's what I was saying. But because his countrymen heard me say that, and countrywomen, they don't care about the performance of the West Indies team. They are only happy that Joel Andrew made 35. That's not what I care about. That's not what I'm happy about. Because even if the player, and let's stop calling his name, even if a player, any player, make a century, and that strike rate is 106, it's not going to win any matches in T20 cricket. Maybe one out of 1,000. And so if I'm looking at it and say, Brandon King from Jamaica, he batted well, he made 100 in a T20 match. And it took him 90 deliveries to make the 100 in the T20 match. How can I be happy about that when West Indies lost? Because taking 90 balls to make 100 in a T20 match, you left the rest of your teammate with only 30 deliveries. Or how many are they going to make off the 30 deliveries? Even if they made 60, you still only make 160. How many T20 matches 160 win nowadays? So we must keep on looking at the bigger picture. We have to look at the bigger picture. We can't be continue to be looking at individual performances and praising those individual performances when in the context of the team, they did not contribute in assisting the team to win the matches. Trying to understand why Alec Atene is not on the squad and older, but Chase is there. Shake my head. Athanaze can play spin, said Lawrence Spencer. Well, I would have explained already that Athanaze is not competing with Chase. And the other thing is that is older available. So that's something that we need to look at. I think the press release said that Alzarri Joseph is being rested. So he is not dropped. And Alzarri Joseph, of course, was our best bowler in the UK. So clearly he has been rested. Looking forward to see how Chase approaches batting, said Athena. Athena, are you going to the matches? I hope that you will do. Yes. I don't see the need for Ford and Shepherd in the same squad. I'd prefer Athanaze or Carey Pearce, said Charles Taylor. And, I always welcome these comments. I welcome different opinions. And I respect all opinions. Thank you for being here, Charles Taylor. I appreciate it. So Athanaze in for Chase. Well, I keep on saying it. Athanaze and Chase is not competing for the same spot. Somehow we need to get older in at RS expense. Romario Shepherd, but that the first thing we need to find out is older available for selection? As he made himself available for selection? I'm just looking back here at the press release, and the only persons that I heard mentioned here is Alzarri Joseph, who has been rested. And of course, Romario Shepherd returned to the squad after missing the matches against Ireland and England. So those are the only two names that were called in the West Indies press release. So I don't know if Older was not selected or he was not available for selection. I just don't know. But based on Older performances in the T20 series, I definitely would have him in the squad ahead of either Romario Shepherd or Matthew Ford. Once he's available, I would pick him ahead of one of those two. Definitely. Maybe even Justin Greaves too. So I would have Older in ahead of any one of those three. Greaves, Ford, and Shepherd. So that's a fair call. I think. Putting Chase to bat at 6 or 7 is a waste. Put him at 3, said Samuel Kane. Stephen Roach, how are you doing, man? I'm great. It's Happy Independence Day in Jamaica. I probably going down to the Gun Gala later. I have 2 tickets here, so I may make it. I may make it. Good day to you too, Philip Da Silva. Happy to have you here. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. So once again, I'm just going to put my playing 11 on the screen for the first one-day international. Here's my playing 11. Brandon King, Heaven Lewis, Casey Carty, Sheo, Shafane Rutherford, Amir Jangu, Ruston Chase, Matthew Ford, Gudakesh Moti, Shamar Joseph, and Jaden Seals. Thank you all for tuning in. Those of you who are celebrating Independence Day, like myself, Happy Independence Day to you, wherever you are in the Caribbean or in the diaspora. And once again, big up to Elton Tucker and his wife, Christina, and big up to Bobby Brown and all the wonderful persons that I met in Fort Lauderdale. So many, I don't want to call name, but I just want to say big up Mr. Kapradev and his wife and child. It was a pleasure meeting you, sir. Really a pleasure meeting you, Mr. Kapradev. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones.